Hi friends, this is Capun Piso with more truth about what's happening in the world today that nobody seems to see. And of course, all is due to religion. And religion, what is religion? It's created in the brain. And religion is a disease. It's a brain disease, it's a neurological disorder, not unlike schizophrenias and temporal lobe epilepsy and all the anomalies of the brain. Because we do think with the brain. It's the organ we create thinking with. We create cultures with and everything. And there is a crisis happening in Europe now thanks to religion psychosis. All these refugees are people from Syria and Iraq and all these places and been displaced. How do they get displaced? What is the problem? What is the trigger? And of course, to an action is always a reaction. And the trigger was, of course, George W. Bush, Christianity-infected imbecile, an ignorant man that happened to be elected, actually appointed by the Supreme Court, by religion, by Christianity-infected nation, the most ignorant nation on the planet, United States of America, all Christians. And in Europe, all Christians. And see, this happened. They don't like Muslims, right? Islam is also a disease. It's a neurological disorder, a disease. And all the mess that happened in Iraq, Saddam Hussein was killed, ISIS came around, Al-Qaeda came around, all this came around. And Syria, disgusting, Islam psychotic, disgusting man. All do religion. Religion crazy people. It's like gassing the people. Like what? Years and years ago we have all this problem. And then ISIS has sprung up, cutting people's heads all over the place. This is very similar to the Christian Crusaders
that invaded Muslim lands and remained there for 250 years.
In the head of people, and they were there raping and pillaging and displacing people for over 250 years. They're all Christians, Christian Crusaders invading the nation. Now these people are desperate. They're being massacred, they're being killed, they're being gassed, their heads are, they're cutting their heads off. The United States supply ISIS with all these weapons from Iraq. What a mess. And they're leaving, they're displaced, and they're also, the ISIS destroying all the monuments and all that, all the ancient ruins. Disgusting people. And they're Muslims, they're taking off with their families, going to Europe. It's all religious psychosis. This is the problem. And Europe doesn't want them. Hungary doesn't, when there's a Christianity-infected nation, doesn't want them. Putin is a Christianity-infected imbecile. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And they don't like Jews. Well, remember Christian Hitler killed about over 6 million of them? And this is the problem. It's all due to religious psychosis, religious dysfunction of the brain. And now we're having this mess. And this is the 21st century. And it's September 4th, 2015, today. Amazing. It's all due to religion. Nobody seems to see, but it's religion. Religion is the cause of all the problems in the world. It stagnates the intellect, make people stupid, psychopath. We have lots of ignorance, and this is the problem. And now we have this.
All right, it was quite heartening to see because, we've been here for about the last 10 days or so, and one has to say that this government is very hostile towards the plight of these people. The security forces are...
This reminds me of the Trail of Tears done by President of the United States, Christ psychosis infected, imbecile, disgusting psychopath, Andrew Jackson. And this is when it happened. United States, a Christ psychosis infected nation, racist. They stole all the native lands, they dispossessed them, they treated them like animals because they were brown color, they were sinful, they were savages, and they should be slaves of the Christian invaders, the white Europeans, pieces of garbage that stole their land. And this is Christianity for you, a disease, a mental disorder. But here it is. That's what it reminds you, all due to religious psychosis, the cancer, the HIV of the brain. Christ psychosis infected imbecile American did this to the natives. All this, it is a fact, thanks to religious psychosis, Christ psychosis especially. They don't care if they died because they were inferior. They were just like the blacks burned by God because they were brown. They are inferior. All the Christian imbeciles thought of that and stole their land because of it. They did the same thing to the Muslims over in Nadilan in Jerusalem. The same shit at different time.
Almost in tears, and she was giving out food to the little children saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry for my prime minister. People wanting to show...
Well, you know what this is for?
...support the government's treatment.
It's all due to, again, religious psychosis. Christianity psychosis. This is in Hungary. They're fleeing Islam psychosis, Syria, and all this destruction of their things to religion. Again, the religion cancer. And Europe is a Christianity-infected nation, continent. Europe, United States is a Christianity-infected nation. The old Christ-psychotic idiots. And these poor people in Europe, they are even walking over there, and they don't want them. Hungary, Christianity-infected nation, and it's under a Christianity-infected imbecile like Putin. They don't like Christian. They are Christians. They don't like. They believe that Europe is a Christian continent, a Christian culture, a Christian imbeciles stuck in the 12th century. They don't like Muslims, Islam psychotics. They don't like the Muslims, so they don't want to help them. And they put him in refugee camps like Christian Hitler did, you know, the Jews, and killed them and gas them. What are they going to do, gas these people? Because they don't like Muslims? See, this is the problem. In this 21st century, we have this crisis, which is thanks to religious cancer. Religious cancer. This is the problem.
Walking their way towards an uncertainty, a border that may not accept them. Where would they go next? What will those security forces do?
Nights sleeping on the sides of roads like this, sleeping on pavements, sleeping wherever they can sleep, huddled out, often trying to avoid the authorities, not entirely sure where they actually are going to get their next meal from, buying it in the small towns along the way. On this route, we have been seeing these brief stations.
And religious psychotic imbeciles are the ones that are in tremendous wealth. All the churches have all this tremendous wealth. Go to any poor village in city in Europe or any place, you have a big huge cathedral, big huge church. Go to the United States, you have these mega churches. These are disgusting people. They subjugate the mind. They keep people ignorant. Go to the Vatican, see the moron is a stupid pope, an idiot, an ignorant, demented moron. All this wealth. And he has 1 billion Christ psychosis infected Catholics. It's all over the place. Bishops are multimillionaires. All this wealth. All of them, every religious wealth. They are wealth. They are live with lies. They lie to people. They steal their money. Do you know how they steal it? Because they talk to them about God. They are the vicars of God. They are the messengers of God. So people give them all this money. Do they help them? No, of course not. They don't care because they are different religious psychosis. And they don't care if they die. Christian Hitler, Nazism, one of the branches of Christianity, right there, control the government and take over all Europe. But then their centers in focus against the Jews. And because they are Christian. You know, look at the swastika and the crosses and everything else. And everything, just Christian people with a different name. So you see all these problems. It's all due to religious psychosis. And the same is happening today. But it's no excuse because it's happening today in the 21st century. We shouldn't have religion. Religion is a disease, it's a cancer. And scientists should wake up. And mentally healthy, in other words, atheists, should wake up and realize that religion is a cancer of the brain, because the brain is the creator of thought. And religion is a cancer. I mean, this is the biggest problem there is, the biggest disease, the biggest scourge of the intellect, the scourge of the mind that people don't seem to see. It's worse than lung cancer, it's worse than any other disease that you can find. It's worse than anything, because religious beliefs attack the brain. It's a virus of the brain. It's like a schizophrenia combined with temporal lobe epilepsy, depression, bipolar disorder, all at once, all into one. That's what religion is. It's like an HIV of the neural array that destroys rational thought. Just like the HIV/AIDS virus destroys the immune system to disease of the person, and it become full-blown, and then you die. You be skinny, you cannot fight disease. Well, religion, when you're infected with religious psychosis, you cannot fight the demented delusions and beliefs that religion produces. So you're believing all this nonsense. And you're okay and you behave, you go to church or you go to synagogue or you go to mosque and you believe in this stuff because it gives you hope and all that. But you have the virus. And you all of a sudden can become full-blown, and you can become killing people, becoming crazy, doing all these crazy things, killing people in the name of God, and killing babies, and drowning babies, and giving them poison like Jim Jones in Guyana in 1978. And all this, and the Crusades, of course, all religious psychosis. 250 years. So this is nothing, but this is happening. The sad thing is that it's happening in the 21st century, and people don't see it. It's due to religion. It's not like they are radicalized people. It's like a schizophrenic being radicalized. No, it's religion. You don't have a schizophrenic people. It's all due to this virus, this cancer of the brain, that actually makes people believe in God and believe in this crap with different names. And of course, when it becomes full-blown, you have all this problem, all the leaders that try to control you and fight people in the name of God and destroy monuments and rampage and kill the Christians, chop their heads off, and the other religious, Islamic religious sects who kept fighting each other, Christian fighting each other. You have Protestant denominations, you have Catholics, you have thousands of them. The same thing happening in Islam. The same thing happening in any religious psychosis. There are many denominations. They all fight each other. It's a cancer. It's a cancer of the brain. There's the results. And nobody mentions it.
It's from Scandinavia, those countries, because they are mentally healthy. In other words, atheist societies. They do not have the infection of God belief of the 12th century. They are advanced. That's the reason you don't see immigrants from these countries. Religious psychosis is a mental illness, a virus that destroys the intellect, makes people theotarded, intolerant, racist, stuck in the Middle Ages, and that is the problem. And you can see that in the United States of America with all these churches. You don't see that in mentally healthy atheist societies in Norway, Sweden, all those countries. They're very happy people, very advanced technologically, because they don't have the neurological stagnation, anti-science stance due to religious psychosis, believing God nonsense. They don't have that. That stagnates the intellect. Religion is a neurological disturbance. Sick brains can only produce sick reasoning. Religion is an organized schizophrenia.